Okay, so I don't really know how to start this video because it is definitely more personal and more intimate, and that is the topic of sex. Like, I already feel awkward, okay? So just bear with me and love me, please. I love you. So first and foremost, I don't know who's gonna watch this video. I don't know where you are in your stage of life. I don't know if you're a Christian or not. I am a Christian. I've been raised Christian my entire life. And I mean, most of you guys are already subscribed. You already watch my videos, you know everything about me. But if you're brand new to my channel, my parents have been in ministry my whole life. And so that's all I've really known is Christianity. And that's a whole other topic of finding Jesus for myself. I can link my story down below of how I actually met Jesus on my own, not through my parents' salvation or them knowing him, but me personally. And that kind of coincides with this video and the topic. So was it worth it waiting to have sex until marriage? A little backstory for Jordan and myself is that Jordan is from England, and so we already had a long distance relationship. And so of course that does help. I mean, how are you gonna, so that definitely helped, but we did see each other as often as we could. And so I would be with him 2 weeks at a time or something. He'd come here for 2 weeks at a time. And so there were times that we were alone. And also when you have a long distance relationship, we FaceTimed every single day. And temptations are everywhere. So even through FaceTime, there's temptations. And like I've seen videos on people saying, giving their advice about waiting until marriage. And one of the really good ones is by Milena Ciciotti. I don't know how to say her last name, but I'll link her video down below. And she gives some really good tips when it comes to waiting until marriage. But I wanted to share my personal story and like our actual wedding night. And so this is like you guys diving into my life and my personal experience on waiting for marriage. Jordan and I we started dating in 2015, and then he moved over to the States because he's from England in 2016, 2 months before our wedding day, which was November 20th, 2016. And since, we didn't want to spend money or try to find a place for him to live, just 2 months before our wedding day, he actually moved in with my mom and my house, so I lived there too. And so I actually slept upstairs and he slept downstairs in my room. And so he lived in our house for about a month and a half, and then he moved into our apartment. So of course that whole month and a half there were temptations because we actually lived in the same house. And there were things that we had to set in place. And one of the biggest things was we just decided we would not have sex before marriage. And I think it really boils down to that, is that some people, I think, if you're a Christian and say you're a Christian girl and you're 15 years old and you've decided that you're not going to have sex until marriage, I think that actually helps, because ever since I was little, I always knew I was not going to give myself to anybody aside from my husband. And that was just a decision that I made personally, and so I stuck to it. Was I perfect? No. I did date before Jordan, and I made mistakes and I did things that I wish I hadn't. And before I even go any further, if I had known that God had the most incredible man on the planet for me, I would have waited indefinitely. Like, I would have waited until I was 60 years old and not dated anybody, not kissed anybody until Jordan, because God has used him to honestly change my life, and I love him with every fiber of my being. And so I would have totally waited. And so if this is you and you've been maybe dating and your heart's been broken, trust me, I've been there. I have a heartbreak video out there. And if you've broken other people's hearts, I remember dating people and thinking, what am I doing? I know that I'm not going to marry them. I just have this feeling that this is not my husband. So what am I doing? And I wish I had listened to that. Why did I not listen to that? Because whenever you do get married, I personally want all of my memories to be with Jordan, because he's the love of my life. He's my everything aside from Jesus. And so, let me just fast forward to our wedding night then, since we just decided, both of us together, that we weren't going to have sex until marriage. And yeah, it was hard. There were moments where but we still waited. And I'm so grateful that we did. our wedding day came, and we were very excited. And at the reception, Jordan turned to me, he's like, I'm ready to leave. Not even just because, you know, like we get to have sex now, but just we're introverts. And I think we were peopled out. Like we were done. And it was our decision. Like we got to say, it's over, we're leaving. So we actually did. We left. We actually, my old roommate, Megan, she was the one that was kind of like coordinating the reception and everything. And I turned to Megan and I was like, hey, we're ready to leave. And she said, you're actually 20 minutes before schedule. So this is great. She knew me. She knew Jordan already, that we were done. So something about me is that I associate memories with places to an extreme. And so when we were choosing our hotel for our wedding night, I really wanted one that was just kind of secluded, really pretty. Like we got married in Pensacola, Florida, and that's like a beach town. And so I didn't necessarily want to stay on the beach. I mean, we could have, and it would have been beautiful. It would have been really nice. But I didn't really want to stay where there were loads of tourists or just a lot of people. And maybe some people that came in for our wedding might have been staying on the beach. And we didn't want to see anybody that we knew. You know, this is like a private, intimate time for us. And so like the next morning, we didn't want to go down to breakfast and see people. You know what I mean? And so I mean, we were going to see people, but like people we actually knew, like we didn't want to go down there and be like, hi. So I chose the Pearl Hotel in Rosemary Beach, Florida. And that's like in Santa Rosa Beach. It's along the 30A highway, whatever it's called. Really beautiful. We actually had our wedding pictures the next day, just the two of us, and I would highly suggest that. John Volk, who is an incredible photographer, I've known him since we're really little. He actually flew in and did our pictures, and I love them. But anyways, I'm getting off topic. I'm sorry. This is going to become like a 30-minute video. So I really wanted to stay in just a very quaint, secluded, beautiful area, and that's exactly what Rosemary Beach is like. And so we actually drove about an hour and 15 minutes, something like that, the night of our wedding to that hotel, and I would 1,000% do that again because it was just so beautiful. And as soon as we checked in, like it was our wedding night, so he was still in his tux, and it was just so exciting. And they said, what are you celebrating? And we said, we actually just got married today. And they upgraded us, guys. They upgraded us to an ocean view suite. It was absolutely beautiful just because it was our honeymoon. And the next morning they brought us cookies. It was just magical. So that night, I know you want me to get to the juicy part, I get it. That night, obviously I'm not going to share details or anything like that. That's not what this video is about. This video is about, was it worth waiting? And a lot of people say that it's probably going to be awkward or weird, or you're just going to be like trying to figure things out and it's just kind of like, it wasn't for us at all. And we grew up in like a day and age where like sex is something that's talked about a lot in schools and just in young people in general, in society, on TV. So it wasn't something that we're like, what do we do? You know, so like it wasn't awkward at all. It was the most precious and beautiful and amazing experience. And I don't know how else to explain it. I mean, I actually cried because, I mean, obviously like the initial, it's like, whoa, but then it was the most beautiful experience. Jordan's driving up now. He went to go get ingredients to make a cake for me. This is his first time to bake anything for me, guys. So we'll see how it goes. But just knowing that he and I are together and this is the only man that will see me in this way and that I will have intimacy with in this way, and knowing that I was his because we both got married as virgins. And so knowing that I was his only woman and that like we gave ourselves to each other, and the fact that like, you know, I know that people have, you know, they have sex before marriage, and this is not a video to bash anybody or to make anybody feel bad for how you were raised or what you've done or anything like that. This is not the place for that at all. This is just my personal experience. And I have friends that, you know, lost their virginity before marriage, And a lot of my friends decided once they did it, they're like, I don't want to do this until I get married again. I want this to be really special between me and my husband. And so like I know both sides of things. Like I have really close friends that have, had sex before marriage, and I have friends that are still waiting. And if you're a Christian and if you feel guilt or shame or anything like that, all you have to do is go to Jesus, and he will take away anything that you feel, and he'll make you pure, and he'll make you holy. And just staring at Jesus changes us, And there's things that I've done in the past that I wish I hadn't, and I had to go before Jesus and say, God, I love you and I'm sorry and I want you to make me pure. And that was it. He never reminded me of things again. He never made me feel bad for things that I've done. And so this is not the place to make you feel bad at all. This is my personal experience with this. And so if you've already had sex and you're thinking, I don't know if I should wait until I do get married or if I should continue doing this, this was just my experience. And I hope that this helps you and encourages you that it can be extremely special with the one that you love and the one that you become one with. And so that night was precious. I don't know how else to describe it. It was like knowing that this man, Jordan Morris, has all of me and I have all of him. And like people witnessed us giving ourselves to each other on our wedding day and during the ceremony. And it was the most beautiful experience knowing that hundreds of people have already seen us give ourselves to each other, and we've done it before God, and we've become one, and now we're experiencing the fullness of becoming one. I can't even describe it. Our wedding night was one of my most favorite days of my entire life. Like Jordan and I always joke that like our wedding night and the next day was our favorite day. Like our wedding day was great and all, but we're just such introverts. We're like, we could have totally just gone to a courthouse. Like we could have done anything, but I wanted to have a real wedding, I'm not saying that a courthouse wedding is not real. I know people just get offended over so many things. You know what I'm saying? Like I wanted to have friends and family around, blah, 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 get the cake. All that to say, I would have waited 100 years for that moment, honestly. And I would have like gone the extreme and waited to not date anybody and not kiss anybody until we got married, because like obviously we kissed and stuff before we got married, but I'm saying like just waiting for all of that for Jordan, just so that he can have all of me, all of my memories, everything are with him. And so everything that we experience when it comes to sex, we only have memories of each other, and I love that. And we get to explore each other and get to know each other in such an intimate way. And I know I've said beautiful a million times already, but it's just beautiful. And so this is just to encourage you that this was my story, my experience. Afterwards we went to Denny's. Was it Denny's? No, it was Waffle House. Okay, we went to Waffle House our wedding night, and we told them it was our wedding night. They're like, oh, that's great. Only Waffle House will they not care that it's your wedding night. We ate waffles and had coffee. And the next day, oh my gosh, the next day was just magical. Everything about it, because we took our wedding pictures and we ate out, and that's my favorite thing in the world to do. And I just love food. If you've been following my channel, you know this. And then for the rest of our lives, it's just beautiful. And I hope that I don't know if you've been curious as to what it's like, that was it. Losing my virginity to my husband was the most special thing in the world, and I cherish that so much. So yeah, that's my story, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Encourage you. If you want to know other types of videos, feel free to comment down below or message me on Instagram. I have my Instagram down there in the description, and I'll link the videos that I talked about down below. But I just want you to know that it can be the most intimate and amazing experience, saving yourself for your spouse and doing that before God, showing God that I've saved this gift that you've given me, the gift of virginity. I have saved this for the one that you have created for me. And some people don't believe that. They don't believe that God has created a specific person, and that's okay. We probably won't know until we get to heaven what God had intended entirely for us, but I truly believe that God created Jordan for me, and I believe that God created me for him. And so just to fulfill that plan was just amazing. So I love you guys. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you have a beautiful, wonderful day, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.